Let's talk overtime goals. I know you remember Game 1 in Ottawa. Take us back to that and how it all developed for you inside the blue line.
Yeah, it was a great goal, and the story behind that too is I used, for most part of the season, I had a wood stick, and at the end of the season, I went over to use a Synergy, one of the Easton sticks. I had a little easier to shoot with a little more flex and better kick in it. And I remember going into the playoffs, I said I was really happy the way the stick worked, and I felt that I had a better shot and everything. And in overtime, sure enough, I was ready to go off and change, I think, and the game came back up into Ottawa's zone, and I think Steve Thomas or Gary Roberts passed me the puck, and I took a couple strides over the blue line, and I just let it rip, and I wouldn't have scored like that with my wood stick, but I'll take it. It was a great goal, and we got a good start in the playoffs because of that.
Did you have an idea that you guys were going to win that series after one game?
I think especially when you play a team that you struggle against so much, if you win a game on the road like that, it really builds confidence and momentum, and we play really good after that.
Daniel Alfredsson, he's a great guy. He's a tremendous hockey player, an ambassador for Sweden and Canada. He gets booed every time he gets played here in Toronto, and every time he plays in Ottawa and Toronto's there, he gets booed by all of Leaf Nation. I don't think I've ever seen Keith Acton as mad as he was that specific night that he drilled Darcy Tucker into the sideboards. Tell me about that night.
There's so many great memories, and Alfie has been involved against the Leafs for sure. Yeah, he hit Darcy Tucker from behind, I think, and Darcy was knocked out, and the puck stayed in our end, and he scored, I think it was the winning goal as well. So that was double up bad luck for us. 2004,
you break a stick and try to throw it against the glass. It gets accidentally tossed into the stands. You're suspended a game. Next game is against Ottawa, and there's Daniel pretending he's going to throw it up. I asked him what he thought you would have thought. Did he appreciate the humor of the fake stick throw into the crowd way back when, which we'll always remember?
Well, you'll have to ask him.
And he said, well, ask Matt. So did you find that funny at all?
I did find it funny, and I laughed in front of the TV when I saw the highlights of that. I know Daniel off the ice. He's a great guy and a great competitor, but I think once we've been on the ice, we're both very much competitors, and we had our battles on the ice, but off the ice we're laughing and are good friends. And the stick thrown incident was one of those things that I didn't make a big deal out of it. I think it looked worse than it actually was.
Daniel's one of several Swedes I think of who were not highly thought of in terms of being drafted. I mean, Nicholas Lidstrom, your draft year was 53rd, and you think of Zetterberg, and you go on and on. What is it about these players that make them so special that once they come here, they defy the odds and show people that they are truly special hockey players?
It's a good, tough question. I think a lot is the team you come into, I think. And Zetterberg, for example, came in as a late draft pick, but he came into a great hockey team. Fedorov, I think Eisenman at the time was there. There were great leadership. Lidstrom, there was a few Swedish players, but they were a top team, and I think that really helped him develop into a great player. Alfredsson really made his own hay, I think, in Ottawa by coming in, but I think in general, all Swedish guys are easy to fit in a team. I think we all have a team mentality that I think really are easy to be accepted in the room, and I think that has helped all Swedish players.
Oh, and Nolan's just retired, but one of your contemporaries, Nicholas Lidstrom, continues to play. How amazing an athlete is he to play at this level for so long and excel at it?
Yeah, and I can be the first hand to tell. Nicholas Lidstrom, it's obviously a difference playing the defense, but he's an absolute machine, and the most rewarded player ever come out of Sweden. All the Norris trophies, Stanley Cups that he's won, and scoring the game-winning goal in the Olympics for Team Sweden 06. And a great player, great player, great teammate, great guy in the dressing room, quiet guy, the most quiet guy you would think in the dressing room, not a raw leader, but guys know when he comes out on the ice, he brings 110%, and he makes everybody else in the room do the same thing. A great player.
You've been out of the game now a good year. how's your body reacting to all of it when we think of Nicholas Lidstrom and what he has to do to keep pace? Tell me about your body, soreness, everything that goes with it.
I probably lost, I think, 8 pounds since I retired. I eat half as much as I did as an active player. And it feels great. Physically and mentally, I haven't felt this good since I was 25. It's the wear and tear of the National Hockey League, the pressure mentally and the grind physically, it really wears you down. So it's been great for me, for my body to heal up after I retired.
It's control again, on they come. This is Sundin to hold to Sundin, he shoots and scores!
McGillney hit the goal post earlier, finds Amplified back to Sundin. Sundin working to the net, scores! Holy mackerel, what a move that is! Willie Sutton is in the building! And it still counts. Sundin to the net, now the race scores! Holy mackerel!
In putting together this 90-minute special, we had an opportunity to speak with many from the hockey world who had so many nice things to say about Mats Sundin. Let's hear from them now.
How special an athlete was Mats?
Well, first of all, he was a great hockey player, great person, but what I think really stood out also was his leadership. To play with him in the national team, he has so much respect for the guy, not only for what he did on the ice, but off the ice too. He brought a lot of confidence to the group.
I mean, Mats, he did a lot for me, you know, in my early stage of my career, you know. So I've been always looking up for him, how he held himself on the ice and especially off the ice. So he's a great person overall.
And I don't think he ever had a chance to play in Toronto with another forward who had his imagination and ability with the puck, or his stats might even be elevated beyond the ones he's got now. But if you were picking an all-Toronto Maple Leaf team, I don't know whether he'd be one of the top 3 forwards, but he wouldn't be far away if he wasn't.
He's one of the legends now in Swedish hockey, and had an outstanding career, both in the NHL and internationally. And you know, I always enjoyed playing with him. Maybe not as much playing against him, but a good friend, and I think, you know, a real pro. I mean, he came to play every night and did whatever he could to make sure his teammates got better, and you know, I always looked up to him coming in. I mean, he broke through a lot earlier than I did, and but he was always gracious with time, and I think most teammates would say that about him, and you know, obviously a deserving honor for him.
Whenever you were down a goal late in the game, when Mats Sundin came out, you knew he was going to create an opportunity for your team to tie the game, and I think that was always something special about the way he played.
He was still to this day the most dedicated player I played with, and as far as a captain, he was amazing. He was really generous with his time, and he always had something fun playing for the team, and you know, he was always taking young guys out and bringing us to dinners and showing us things that were a lot of fun.
He had a great slap shot, but that backhand move is probably you know, one of the best. I think he got it up so quickly, so I almost rather see him shoot when he came down against you. But he was so skilled, and also because he has such a long reach, it was tough to stop him.
Well, every night he's been a dominant player. So that's by his play and by his leadership. He's just showing everybody that he's never quit, you know, and that's something I didn't see many players, you know, have this talent like that. So just every game he's been a leader. It doesn't matter how the game goes. We're losing by 5 or winning by 5. He's been always a great player and great teammate.
It's an overdue recognition to get his jersey pulled at the top of the Air Canada Centre. I think he's one of the best Leafs that ever put the uniform on, and I hate to tell you how many wonderful highlights he gave me to talk about when I was doing the television games for Hockey Night or for Leaf TV, covering all those Leaf games. And so I wish I could be there, but I'll be in Florida playing golf, Matt, so you know it isn't easy to make a change when you've paid for the tickets. Well, something you would understand. But what a wonderful guy and a terrific night, and I hope the fans in Toronto give him the kind of rousing ovation that he deserves, because when he left it wasn't quite on the terms it should have been. But he was a great player and a pleasure to watch and a real nice guy. And congratulations, Mats. I feel I'm partly responsible for this because I showed all those highlights of you scoring goals.
We'll continue our conversation with Matt Sundin in just a moment.
Sundin gets it on goal. Scores! What a goal by Matt Sundin. Burst of speed, and he beats Brodeur. A pass over on the left wing. Nice play by Sundin to regain it in over the line. He scores! Matt Sundin with a blistering shot from the top of the circle. And in his 1,001st game, he makes it 1-0 with his 34th of the year.
Almost had a short-handed chance. Here's a 2-on-1. McGillivray, Sundin, and it's over. Matt Sundin, on the night he was honored, wins it in Toronto.
Getting back to captain, I noticed in the years that you were with the club, you never hung with one particular group, and there may have been a young group of players on the team. You'd take them out for dinner on the road. You moved around a little bit. How important was that for team unity, for you as a captain to bring that team closer together?
Well, it's important, and at the same time, it's not that easy. You know, I think it's very important as a captain. You try to make sure that everybody feels they're part of the group. When you're 23 or 24, 25 guys as players, and then you have trainers, everybody's got to respect each other. You can't think that everybody's going to be good friends and hang out off the ice or go for dinners and so forth. But a big and important thing, I think, to become successful as a team is that you need to have the respect in the room, that when you come in for a game, you want to fight, you want to cover a shot or block a shot for the guy sitting next to you. I think is very important, and that was the philosophy I had. And whether it was the young guys or the Russian guys, and you have all the different nationalities, I think I try that anyway as a captain, and I think it helped our teams playing during the season.
It's been a decade now since this team last went to a conference final. Think back to the spring of 2002. I mean, that was a bittersweet time for you, wasn't it? You didn't get to participate as much as you would have liked to.
Yeah, I broke my wrist in the first round against the Islanders. I think I got a shot right off the face-off on my wrist. But you got to watch a great end of that playoff round, and another playoff round where we ended up in the first round in a war with the Islanders, and then in another war against Ottawa, and we still made it to the conference finals and lost to, in my opinion, and probably our best chance to reach the Stanley Cup final, Carolina, who had a decent team, but we had a great season that year and didn't end up going to the Stanley Cup finals. Had a good run, but it was a great memory anyway.
Alan McCauley and Gary Roberts that spring. How special were those two?
Well, Gary Roberts was a living machine in that playoffs. He was scoring, he was hitting, he was back checking, he was a leader in the room. He really carried a big load, and a guy that I think you forget as a Leaf fan is Alan McCauley, who those years we had great teams, was that key two-way centerman that we had, and when I was hurt, he really filled that role void and become a scoring centerman as well. Great player that did a great job for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You and Darcy get back into that series. I think it was Game 2, maybe Game 3, maybe Game 2 in Carolina. Was it tough filtering back into a lineup that was doing so well, then all of a sudden you get a dose of vitamin Mats and vitamin Darcy and things, Carolina seemed to at least pick up, and Artur Sorbet played outstanding hockey from that point on as well. Yeah, it was a close scoring games, I think, right through the whole series. They played a real defensive, sit-back kind of trap game. It was great. I mean, you're just eager to get back in playing. The team is in the conference finals, and you've been resting for a few weeks. It was great to get back playing, and it was a hard-fought round, and I remember we're down 1 goal in